Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Case by Case. This is Amy. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to come in. I'm not going to be on here extremely long tonight, but I do have some things that need to be discussed. I've been kind of fuming all day. So if you're in here and you can hear me okay, drop a hello in the chat.
I sent another email with the link with other concerns that you can file a complaint for.
Okay. So I've got a couple links in the chat, and then I have some things that I've posted, and I will continue to post tonight on the community page for you guys to utilize after the live. I think you'll understand more so after the live. Hello, ACV. Hello, Judge Jessica, Carla Ann, Boogies. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been sending me information through the my email. I mean, you guys have been amazing. You've given me enough work for the next month. Indiana girl, hello. Dieter, hello. Just gonna let people trickle in here. Candy M, Court of Public Opinion, hello. Evil Alaska, hello. Okay. So I'm about to eat some of my own words because I said I would not ever engage with ridiculing other creators, etc., etc. I'm going to try to stay professional. But here in the streets of YouTube, I don't think any of us like to be called liars or stupid or dumb. And I'm referring to a podcast who uploaded an episode on Monday titled Ricci Davis Gambit, which was in a total of 1 hour and 10 minutes. And for over 7 minutes, this podcast went on and on and on and on about how stupid this episode was. Pointless, dumb, skip it. It's not going to be interesting. It's not worth your time. Bounce. Those were words that this podcast used Mr. Shaggy and Maggie in regards to someone who has information about this crime that they claim to completely discredit without ever hearing his voice. Not to mention, they did reach out wanting to get an interview with him. Why? So they could call him a liar, like they did in this episode, a flat out flipping liar. Well, was he a liar back in May of 2017 when he told law enforcement that someone confessed to him that a box cutter was used? Yet we have Nick McClellan himself pointing out the fact that now all of a sudden Richard Allen mentioned a box cutter, as if Dr. Walla was not collaborating with Gray Hughes, more than likely Jerry Holman, more than likely Steve Mullins, more than likely Nick McClellan, and was feeding mentally unstable Richard Allen information that brought up a box cutter. And the state thought we were all going to be stupid enough to buy the medical examiner taking the stand after 7 years changing his story that a box cutter was used because they never anticipated the Ricci Davis information coming out. And Murder Sheets wants to call us stupid and dumb. An hour and 10 minutes of how stupid and dumb we are. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. You know, you guys can cite your ethics, you can cite your professionalism. However, if you claim to be an attorney and you promote the disarming of someone's constitutional rights, you clearly are a horrible attorney. Number one. Number two, if you claim to be a journalist, but you're being hand fed behind closed doors in front of your dusty bookshelf while you're looking disheveled on national TV, if you're being hand fed birdseed from the state for you to parrot to the public, you're not a journalist. You're fake. And you have been nothing but a mockery in this industry because you're not reporting facts and you're not reporting unbiased facts. As a journalist, you're supposed to be reporting both sides, yet you haven't been. You have been promoting the guilt of a man in a murder that you still to this day have no idea what happened, yet you're promoting his guilt. And you're supposed to be married to an attorney who should know better, innocent until proven guilty. Yet here we are, and we're stupid. We're dumb. You are constantly trying to debunk information that the defense and this side of the YouTube streets is spewing. Is that what you're saying? You are constantly trying to debunk that shit? Like what? Shaggy and Maggie? Like what? Muddy and Bloody? A man dressed in all black? Are you trying to debunk that? He doesn't have blue eyes. Did you attempt to debunk that? Nope. Puffy hair. Different colored cars at the CPS building. Did you attempt to debunk that? Dan Doolin throwing his handwritten notes away after speaking to the actual killer. Did you try to debunk that? Because he didn't do it? Or did he? Is it possible that Kathy Shank sat next to the case solving tip for 5 years and never saw it? Did you try to debunk that? Nope. Then you come on here and you continue to repeat misinformation. Like what? Here, I'll tell you. You want to call Ricci Davis a liar with no proof. You want to uphold Nick McClelland, who, in his response to the motion to correct error, stated, Ricci Davis failed a lie detector test miserably. Okay, well, you know what? How do we solve that problem? Nikki, how do we solve it? Produce the goddamn interview tape that included the bogus lie detector test that your so called law enforcement implemented. Produce it because you don't get to produce the results and call someone a liar if you don't have proof of what they failed, which is what you're doing, which is what Shaggy and Maggie are repeating because Nick McClellan said so. Nick McClellan is a man. He's not the jury. He's not, just because his mouth is moving does not mean that he's telling the truth. Number one. Number two, Shaggy and Maggie, you repeated what Nick McClellan stated in his response to correct the error. And that was Ricci Davis said that Ron Logan burned the girl's clothes. Are you sure about that? Is that what you actually took time to read when the defense team filed their motion to correct error? It stated in the handwritten notes from Ricci Davis and the investigator who was taking the chicken scratch notes. Did anyone ever say that Ron Logan burned the girl's clothes? I'm pretty sure that's not what was said. But yet Nick McClellan says it, and oh my God, it's a freaking fact. That's BS. Nick McClellan misspoke, and you're repeating it. Then you claim, because Nick McClellan said so, that there was a flip phone that a battery was taken out of. Where did you read that? Was that in any of the handwritten notes that the defense filed from Ricci Davis or the investigator who interviewed him? Oh, no, it wasn't. Nick McClellan said it, so it must be true. It must be true. Are you kidding me? And we're stupid and we're liars? And you reach out to Ricci Davis trying to convince him how professional you are and you should get an interview with him so you can do what? Come on here now and call him a liar when you don't know anything about the facts of what he was told? You don't know. You claim, oh, well, Nick McClellan said the facts are wrong because Abby was taken away and then brought back. Well, guess what? How do you know she wasn't? Do we have a time of death? Would it be important to know if the girls actually took their last breath hours apart? Who was Nick McClellan there? Nick McClellan can't even tell you what the hell happened. He can't even be honest about the fact that Brad Weber knew back in 2017 that he wasn't home at 2:32. You know how we know that? Because his mommy was going all over social media, putting it out there that her son had nothing to do with this because he wasn't home. And then you want to argue, well, we don't know what time that video is time stamped. Well, I'm pretty sure we do based on what time we see it at 2:44 and then at 2:50 his cell phone miraculously connects to his Wi-Fi at 2:50. And you're calling us stupid. Really? I'm done. Like the state of Indiana, I get it. I get it. You guys are never going to admit that what you have done is going to cost you. And I'm not sitting here saying that Rick Allen is innocent because I don't know. What I do know is that you didn't prove he was guilty. And what I do know is that you went against every single thing from day one as your theory to this day. Now there being a lone wolf, to there being a old bridge guy sketch, to a young bridge guy sketch that you are now wanting us to believe is the same fucking guy. And we're stupid. No, we're not stupid. We know that in society, rights matter. And Rick Allen did not get a fair trial, period, point blank. Whatever the outcome may be of a fair trial, this isn't it. It wasn't a fair trial. And if you don't like it, you know what you can do? You can attend the next trial. And hopefully, we have a judge who is fair and balanced and a good gatekeeper of the law, because Judge Gall is not her. So now I'm going to move on. Like I said, I'm not going to be on here very long. I'm sure everybody in the chat, I'm not even looking at the chat. We're going to move on. So on my community page, I posted a link to every single news media outlet in Indiana, starting with Fox 59, all the way down the line. I'm going to need everybody to start a pressure campaign in this case. So I know Andrew Baldwin went on Defense Diaries the other night and was talking about Ricci contacting him. And the fact that there was a request made for Ricci to be moved away from Keegan Klein, which he had every right to ask for under the circumstances. However, he was not only moved, and these are updates today, not yesterday, not the day before, today. Everything that Ricci owned in his cell, personal property, was removed, including all of his legal documents, everything that he had worked on for his case, and the motions that he's getting ready to file because he's having to go pro se because he has no attorney. All of that information was taken out of his cell. His bed, his mat for his bed was taken. And that mat, brand new, is $150. His TV was taken. His clothes were taken. And he was moved into segregation as if he was on suicide watch. Now, his tablet is not being charged, which means he has no access to his messages. He has no access to making phone calls on his tablet. He has no access to his money or a way to order commissary. He had to go 5 days. They made that man go 5 days without a shower. Then, after removing his own personal mat, they transferred him to this suicide cell, and they bring him an old mat that is dilapidated and ripped, tattered and torn. And the normal procedure is that they are supposed to send in a note to the laundry department asking for a new mat because something is wrong with theirs. He did that. So what does the DOC do? They come in and they take that mat and they charge him $50 off of his inmate account, claiming that he's the one who ruined the mat, that they gave him in that condition. He said they're acting funny, they're treating him indifferent, And he even offered to sign a waiver that he would not hold the prison liable if something was to happen to him, if he could get out of this confinement. Are they trying to pull a Richard Allen on him because he wrote a letter to the media? Is that what's happening here? So, what I'm going to do tonight is I'm showing you that there are tons of outlets on the Newcastle prison website where people can file complaints, inmates can file complaints. Those are all available. There's also a inmate handbook, which is right here, that you guys can review and decide for yourself what actions you want to take. What I'm asking you to do tonight is when we get off of here, you go to my community page, you click the link for all of the media websites. You make phone calls, you make emails, you go to their Facebook pages, and you demand that the media cover this because it's unacceptable. This man should be able to speak out and tell what he was told in the case of two little girls' lives being taken without there being some sort of revenge or retribution against him for what he's doing. You can't have it both ways. And for Shaggy and Maggie to do this damn podcast for an hour and 10 minutes and talk about how unimportant, unsignificant, and you guys can just bounce, skip it, don't listen. And from here on out, they're going to label all of their podcasts insignificant when it comes to things that they don't feel are important. You know what I suggest you guys do? You hit the thumbs down and you leave a shitty review because they are not being journalists and they are not representing who I would want to represent me as an attorney. You, as the public, have that ability to take that power away from them, seeing how they feel like they are entitled to go on there and call everybody else stupid and dumb. Guess what? Y'all came on the scene years after the fact. If you were here from the very beginning, you would have known about Brad Weber. You would have known all of the past details that we know that piss us off, that Nick McClellan is trying to shove down our throat now as facts that we know from day one wasn't a fact. Non-secular, staging, trophies, something you would take a picture of. None of that matters now. All of that is out the window because we have a lone wolf who was sitting in a desk drawer for 5 years against the best fucking investigator that they got, Miss Kathy Shanks. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. And they call themselves professional and they write their own code of ethics. Really? Guess what? I'm a YouTuber. I don't necessarily have to abide by ethics. I'm not obligated by the American Bar Association. I don't owe anybody shit but the truth. So I'm sure your next podcast is going to do nothing but shit on us YouTubers. But you know what? If it wasn't for us, this case would be sitting in the dark with cobwebs, and no one would know that there is possibly an innocent man right now sitting in solitary confinement for the next 130 years. So if you don't like it, don't dish it, period. So I'm going to get off here. I've got dinner to eat. I've had a long day at work. Everybody, I'm posting all of this on my community page. Click the link, contact the prison, contact Fox 59, contact Max Lewis, tweet about it, contact Vinnie Politan, contact Ashley Banfield, contact Court TV, contact Barbara McDonald, who has also reached out to Ricci Davis. And don't forget to leave your review on Shaggy and Maggie's podcast with a nice big fat thumbs down. Okay? Love you guys. I'll see you this weekend. Gotta go. Good night.